All right, let's talk about the topic of the week. This week, we're talking about something that couldn't be more simple: the personalized thank you. There are three things that you need to do to help your donors become recurring donors, okay, to what they call donor retention. The first one is to acknowledge a donation. The second one is to thank your donor. Those are not the same thing. Your acknowledgement is a tax letter, which is a form letter, and that's nice, and it gives them the information that they need to go and write off your donation or whatever they need to do. It lets them know that you received it. There can be nice gratitude language in there. It can be a really effusive, wonderful letter, but that's not really a thank you. That is an acknowledgement. That should go out right away as soon as you receive the donation. The second thing is to thank your donors. And the third thing is to inform them where their money is going. Today I want to focus on the thank you and why it is so important. I think so many organizations skip over this part. Again, like a lot of organizations think, well, we sent that acknowledgement letter out. It says thank you on it. We're good to go. If you are practicing relational fundraising, which is based around the concept of building relationships, not just a transaction, not just the give me your money, thank you for your money, right? If you're building relational fundraising, then you want your donors to have a more personal connection with your organization. You want them to feel like they're part of something. You want them to feel like they are incredibly appreciated. And the tiniest thing that you can do that makes the biggest impact is either sending a handwritten thank you note or a personal thank you call. There are a lot of donor management platforms now that have the option to do a video. You can send out a personalized thank you video to people, which I used to do as a development director, and oh my God, the response was so amazing. The point is that you are personally acknowledging, you're taking the time out. You know how much it means to somebody that you're taking the time out of all your busy work from a busy day, you're taking the time out to talk to them. And because they know that you're an organization that gets a lot of donations, that means they know how many people you have to contact, but you're still making the effort to reach out to them. It makes such a huge difference. I can't tell you how many people received a handwritten thank you note or a thank you video when I was development director that made it a point to say, like, nobody does this anymore, and it really makes an impact. I can't believe, just for my little $50 donation or whatever it was, that you took the time to do that. It makes a huge difference when you're trying to build relationships and build a community around your organization. And bonus, it's so much more impactful when it doesn't come from a staff member. When it comes from a board member, it means even more that somebody from the leadership, a volunteer, took the time out to make this contact with the donor. So this is a great opportunity. If you have board members that don't have a lot of time to contribute, but are happy to sit and write, they have good handwriting, or they don't mind making a phone call. This is a great way to involve your board members in fundraising. It's one of the most important parts of fundraising is donor retention and thanking your donors. So this is a great way to get your board members participating in a way that feels comfortable and good for them as well. A couple of tips while you're sending out your thank you notes. Actually, best practice is not to send it on some kind of branded thank you card or envelope. If you think about it, this makes perfect sense because most likely your donor has given a donation because they've already received some kind of communication from you, likely an appeal letter or another communication from you. Then, after they've given their donation, they've received another communication from the organization. Usually, it could be an email if they've done it online, but, usually it's a tax receipt in the mail. And if they get a third thing from you, that just feels like, oh God, what else do they want? I've already given, they've already thanked me. What more could they want from me? And so sometimes that might get tossed aside and saved for later because, they've already heard from you. They don't necessarily want to deal with it right now. But if you have just a straight up thank you card in a regular envelope, and it's not addressed from the organization, it's addressed from the person who wrote the thank you card. So from your board member, from your executive director, from your volunteer that wrote it, to the donor. And, it's nice if that's handwritten and not printed on a label and with a real stamp on it also. Makes a difference. This all makes a difference. It's going to make it more likely that somebody opens it and sees that little piece of gratitude, that little extra effort that you're making to let your donors know how much you appreciate them. So that's the topic of the week, extolling the virtues of the handwritten thank you, the personalized thank you call, the personalized thank you video. It makes the difference a lot of times between keeping a donor and not keeping a donor. I can also tell you, actually going backwards, there's a wrong way to do it. So make sure that your thank you notes are genuine. They have actual words in them. It doesn't just say, thank you, love, organization. It talks a little bit about the impact that their donation will have, how much it's appreciated. Real words, guys. Use your words, right? Make sure you're doing it the right way if you're going to take the effort to do it. Donors do notice, and an organization lost my donation once because they sent me just an absolutely awful thank you card, frankly. Making the, going through the motion isn't enough. It's the effort behind it that makes the difference. All right, topic of the week, finished. Go write your thank you cards and go get your board involved in writing your thank you cards. All right, guys, we've come to the end of another episode of What's Good Wednesday. Again, if you have something to share or if you've got a question or a topic that you want discussed during the topic of the week, head over to Wednesday at Be What's Good. Send it my way. I want to hear it. I want to share it. Again, if you want to find out more about What's Good LLC, or if you want to catch the show or catch more resources, go to bewhatsgood.com. Go over to Facebook and YouTube. That's where you can always find the show. The handles on both are Be What's Good. As I said before, if you think about liking or subscribing, I hate to be a YouTuber, but it really does help the show grow. It helps more people be able to see it. So I would greatly appreciate your little button click there if you wouldn't mind. Thank you very much. And of course, you can always find me on LinkedIn at What's Good LLC, or my personal page, Jamie Dingler. That's Jaymej, me, Dingler, on LinkedIn. If you get a chance, head over to Amazon, check out my book, The Itty Bitty Book of Nonprofit Fundraising. It really does make an excellent gift for nonprofit boards that are just starting out, just starting to get the board involved in fundraising. It helps them understand what their role is, and then it gives about the last third of the book is actionable ideas of how your board can participate in fundraising in a way that feels good for them, in a way that if they commit to it, they're going to stick to that commitment because it feels good for them to do. That's it, guys. Thank you for attending the 10th episode of What's Good Wednesday. Have a wonderful week ahead. Send me your good news as it comes in this week, and I will see you again next Wednesday for another episode of What's Good Wednesday. Bye, everybody.